Well, I want to welcome you all here this morning, and this day has been a long time in coming, I know, for some of you, but we're happy to be here this morning. One of the things I'd like to do is Colonel Jansen and I have been working on this, and I think he's the 5th colonel that I've worked with in the Western Lake Erie Basin, and I'd like to recognize him this morning as the co-chair of the Western Lake Erie Basin group. Colonel, thank you for being here this morning.
Thanks, David.
Also on behalf of Gary Lee, who is the State Conservationist in Michigan, and Jane Hardesty, the State Conservationist in Indiana, they're over here, and myself, Terry Cosby, the State Conservationist in Ohio. I want to welcome you all here this morning, and thank you for being here. I would like to introduce our mistress of ceremony. She's kind of the person with the whipping chair, so she's going to keep us on schedule and keep us on time, and that is Gail Hesse. Gail is a former director of the Ohio Lake Erie Commission. Now she's the director of the Great Lakes Water Program at the National Wildlife Federation, and Gail has a very extensive background in this watershed, and we thank her for being here this morning and helping us out. So Gail, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Terry. I think it was Terry mentioned I spent most of my career in the public sector and am now working for the National Wildlife Federation. And it reminds me of a quote from a former Michigan congressman who, upon leaving office, commented that he was looking forward to the promotion from public servant to sovereign citizen. So I stand before you today as a sovereign citizen, and I'm thrilled to be here before you today as we look forward to hearing from NRCS and several of our elected officials and some key stakeholders. Well, today we're under a universally overcast sky, as the radio commenter said this morning, but yesterday we enjoyed a beautiful, glorious spring day, and it's days like yesterday that remind us that we need to take note of the renewal that is the promise of spring. And in many ways, renewal is why we're here today, as all of us in this room are very committed to a restored Lake Erie. So we will, as I mentioned, we'll hear today about an NRCS announcement that represents a significant investment towards that renewal and towards that restoration. So for our time together this morning, we will first hear from NRCS Chief Jason Weller, followed by comments from several elected officials, and then as well as a few key stakeholders. We're expecting this portion of the day to take about an hour, as we want to ensure to allow enough time for media to have their interviews with any of the individual speakers. Many of you know that we've got a detailed briefing on tap for this afternoon, and so then we'll go into a deeper look into a key study that provides the underpinnings for this initiative, and then more of an opportunity for some give and take and questions and answers. So we're looking at roughly a hard stop at about 11 o'clock this morning, so again, to allow enough time for those media interviews. So let's begin actually before we go into the round of speakers, there are a couple of other elected officials in the room that I do think we should acknowledge. We have 2 Lucas County commissioners in our midst today, and they've been great supporters of efforts on behalf of Lake Erie, and I'd like to introduce Lucas County Commissioner Carol Contrada and Lucas County Commissioner Tina Wozniak. So welcome, we're glad to have you in the room with us today. So let's begin Jason, I'm going to introduce you, and he has served as chief of NRCS since July of 2013, overseeing programs that protect the environment, preserve our natural resources, and improve agricultural sustainability through voluntary private lands conservation, leading a staff of more than 10,000 across the country and managing a budget of about $4 billion. Prior to becoming chief, Jason worked alongside former NRCS Chief Dave White, where he served as Associate Chief of Conservation and Chief of Staff, working with the agency's national and state leaders to plan and implement strategic conservation initiatives and conduct the annual business operations of the agency. So Chief Weller brings a unique combination of skills and experience, blending advocacy for conservation and the understanding of the complex business machinations of the NRCS. So Chief Weller, we're thrilled that you're with us today in Ohio, and we look forward to hearing your announcement.